Welcome to the Disabled Podcast, starring your host, Christian Reitz.
Hot dog, let's go!
Welcome to the Disabled Podcast, the show that incorporates disabilities with the magic of Disney. Welcome to episode number 10, entitled The Very Merry 10th Episode Spectacular. Be sure to use our hashtag the Disabled Podcast when sharing this podcast to all social media platforms. Again, that's hashtag the Disabled Podcast when sharing this podcast to all social media platforms. And now, for a very special video podcast, here is your host, Christian Reitz. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, the final episode of the Disabled Podcast. Y'all, it has been such a long time since I've done a podcast episode, and I'm so excited about this one because this is literally episode number 10, the final episode of season 1 of the Disabled Podcast. And so you might be asking, well, Christian, what's the big deal about episode 10? What's so special about episode 10 of this podcast? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you're on YouTube right now, you're seeing me on video. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you're not seeing me on video. You're just hearing my voice. But there's a link in the description box to click on the video and to see the actual video I'm recording right now on my computer. So, here's what's going to happen today. Today is going to be kind of a bit of a different podcast. Normally we talk about Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise, whatever. We got to get into all the theme parks and all that stuff. But today, we're actually going to be doing Disney trivia. Which, by the way, I should go ahead and say, Merry Christmas, y'all. It's already December. Is that better for you guys? How many of you guys actually got your Christmas shopping done? Show of hands? Okay, I see you. Those of you on YouTube, I can actually see you have no Christmas shopping done. That's okay. You still got a little bit of time left, at least a couple more weeks, before your kids or your spouse ask you, hey, honey, hey, mom, hey, dad, so what did you give me for Christmas? It's okay. You've got just a little bit more time, so I hope you've got your Christmas shopping done. But if you have not, you've still got some time to get your Christmas shopping done. This, by the way, is a very special Christmas episode, as determined by our Christmas intro that you just heard, okay? So I'll tell you what, without any further ado, let's get on to Disney Trivia, and then after Disney Trivia, I've got a very special announcement, two very special announcements that are going to be so cool, and it will tell you about the future of the Disabled Podcast. So are you ready? All right, let's do it. So these first few questions are going to be multiple choice. You're going to have 15 seconds to answer each question, and the clock will start as soon as I say the word go. You ready? All right, let's do it. Question 1. Which company has the following slogan, where dreams come true? Is it A, Hasbro, B, Marvel, C, Disney, or D, Nickelodeon? And your time starts now. Go. Okay, do you think you got the answer? If you answered A, you are wrong. If you answered B, you are wrong again. If you answered C, Disney, you are correct. Give yourself 10 points. Now, on to the next question. Question number 2. Which iconic character did Walt Disney plan to call Mortimer before being persuaded by his wife, Lillian, to change the character's name to the name that he is known by today? Is it A, Chuck E. Cheese, B, Mickey Mouse, C, Remy, or D, Minnie Mouse? Again, your time starts now. Go. Do you think you got the answer? Okay. Again, which iconic Disney character did Walt Disney plan to call Mortimer before being persuaded by his wife Lillian to change the character's name to the name that he is known by today? If you answered Chuck E. Cheese, you are wrong. If you answered Remy, you are wrong. If you answered Minnie Mouse, again, you are wrong. But if you answered Mickey Mouse, you are correct. So go ahead and give yourself another 10 points. And now, on to question 3. Okay, on to question number 3. What is the name of Mickey's dog that was first introduced in the year 1930? Is it A, Bolt, B, Lady, C, Sully, or D, Pluto? Your time starts now. Go. If you answered A, Bolt, you are wrong. If you answered B, Lady, you are also wrong. If you answered C, Sully, for the third time, you are absolutely wrong. But if you answered D, Pluto, you are absolutely correct. Now give yourself another 10 points. And now on to question number 4. Now here's question number 4. The soundtrack of which movie of the year 1992 includes songs that are entitled Fen Like Me and Prince Ali? Is it A, Beauty and the Beast, B, Pinocchio, C, Aladdin, or D, Bambi? And your time starts now. Go. Okay, you think you got the answer? If you answered A, Beauty and the Beast, you are wrong. If you answered B, Pinocchio, also, and I don't know why, you're also wrong, because, it's probably the easiest answer, but I get it, it's okay. If you answered C, Aladdin, you are correct. And if you answered D, Bambi, I'm so sorry, you are wrong. But second of all, can we just all agree, Bambi is, one of the saddest movies ever? I mean, you've seen the movie Bambi, right? It's not a very good ending. Okay, anyway, beside the point, listen, if you answered C, Aladdin, you can give yourself 10 points. And now, on to the next question. In a 1953 Disney animated film, what titular character and the Darling Children briefly land on the hour hand of Big Ben before heading off on their adventure? Now, what character and the Darling Children? That's the key. There's a few characters in that scene. Is it A, Big Hero 6, B, Peter Pan, C, Aristocats, or D, The Little Mermaid? And your time starts now. Go. Again, do you think you got the answer correct? I'm pretty sure you got the answer by hearing my little clue I gave in that question. If you answered A, Big Hero 6, you are not correct at all. If you answered C, The Aristocats, you are still wrong. If you answered D, The Little Mermaid, again, you're wrong. But if you answered B, Peter Pan, you are correct. Go ahead and give yourself 10 points. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. All right, y'all, we're in the home stretch, guys. Just 5 more questions before we wrap up this part of the Disable podcast, and then we reveal some very big news about the future of the Disable podcast. All right, so question number 6. What is the name of the iconic insect who sings When You Wish Upon a Star in the 1940 animated film Pinocchio? Is it A, Baymax, B, Toto, C, Woody, or D, Jiminy Cricket? Okay, lock that in your mind. Okay, you think you got the answer? Okay, here we go. Your time starts now. Go. Okay, if you answered A, Baymax, B, Toto, C, Woody, you are wrong again. But if you answered Jiminy Cricket, you, my friend, are correct. So go ahead and give yourself another 10 points. And now let's move on to question number 7. Now, this next section, these last 4 questions are going to be short answer. So I'm not going to give you multiple choice. You're just going to have to kind of guess your Disney trivia answers. So you got to go back a little bit, but I'm sure you grew up with these iconic movies and these iconic characters that I'm about to mention, okay? 4 more questions, and then we're done, and then we've got some really big news about the future of the Disable podcast, okay? So here we go with question number 7. Now you got to think. What 2021 Disney animated film is about a family of Colombians who are gifted with magical powers, and this movie co-stars Lin-Manuel Miranda and Wilmer Valderrama. Do y'all remember, by the way, when Wilmer Valderrama was in that show, Handy Manny, was on Playhouse Disney? Yeah, okay, cool. I watched it as well. And by the way, the title of this movie is Spanish for charm. And your time starts now. Again, there's no multiple choice for this question. But if you guessed Encanto, you are correct. So give yourself 10 points. And now, on to the next question. And now, question number 8. Actually located in the state of Utah, what high school served as the main setting of the 2006 Disney Channel original movie, or if you know it, DCOM, High School Musical? And your time starts now. Go. Do you think you got the answer? Again, this is not multiple choice. This is just short answer. If you answered East High School, then you, my friend, are correct. So give yourself another 10 points. And now, on to the next question. Question number 9. In the 2013 drama, Saving Mr. Banks, Tom Hanks plays an aging Walt Disney trying to secure the rights to what 1934 novel? And your time starts now. All right, this is the second to last question, y'all. If you answered Mary Poppins, you are correct. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the movie, it's actually really, really good. I once saw it. I think it was on Netflix, and it's a very good movie. That Saving Mr. Banks movie is the one I'm talking about. Saving Mr. Banks was awesome. I think I found it on either Netflix or Disney Plus, one of the two. But it's a very good movie. So if you haven't seen that movie, go check it out on Netflix. See if it's still there. All right. Now on to question number 10. Okay, here we go, guys. The final question in this section of the Disable Podcast, episode 10. Which Disney princess has a star located on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Now, I know that's a little bit of a tricky question, so I'm going to give you an extra 5 seconds to answer it, okay? And your time starts now. Alright, you guys, that was a bit of a tough one, but I hope you got it. And by the way, Google is not going to help you now. So if you use Google, you cheated, you're a cheater. Sorry. I'm kidding. If you use Google, honestly, I'd probably use it too. So let's be real, I probably used it, so you probably already know the answer. But if you guessed Snow White, you are absolutely 1000% correct. And you might as well at this point just give yourself 100 points. Alright? Well, guys, hey, listen, I want to say thank you guys for playing this game and for really following me along on this journey of Season 1 of the Disable podcast. This has been so much fun, kind of trying to learn how to do podcasting, and kind of bouncing it between YouTube, and then eventually adding it onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This has been such a blast, and I've had such a great time doing it. But you're probably asking the question now, well, Christian, you've had such fun doing Season 1. Are we going to do a Season 2? And the answer is, Season 2 is coming this January to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we're going to come out with some brand new things. So we're going to have some interviews. And again, just like episode 10 today, we're going to be doing video podcasts as well. So you can always go to YouTube and see the video, as well as you can go to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and hear the audio as well. So we'll have two different options for every week. And so you can always kind of flip-flop between the two if you're on the road, or maybe you're just one who likes to listen to podcasts. We have Apple Podcasts and Spotify for you. If you want to watch the podcast and see the shenanigans during an interview or see the faces that you're hearing on each podcast, you can always go to YouTube, and I'll always have that video uploaded for you so you can follow along with each episode of the Disable podcast. Which, by the way, the Disable podcast is getting a brand new intro. And for the first time ever, we're going to be getting a brand new outro. Now, I haven't exactly put that together yet, so it's going to take a little bit to put that together. But you're going to hear it soon. If you follow me on Facebook, which, by the way, again, sorry, a lot of tangents here. If you don't follow me on the Disable Podcast Facebook page, you really should, because that's where I'm going to post updates and behind-the-scenes secrets of how we make certain episodes. So you can see some screenshots of some things that nobody will ever get to see. You just never know what's going to happen on the Disable Podcast Facebook page. Well, that's all the time I have, everybody, for this week's episode and for this last installment of Season 1 of the Disable Podcast. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and we'll see ya
Real soon.
Take care, everybody.